Ever been curious about the birth of the majestic ice giants called glaciers? Well, take a journey back in time, thousands of years, to the birth of a glacier. Glaciers, these mammoth wonders of nature, are not born overnight. Their formation is a slow, methodical process that requires three key ingredients: snowfall, cold climate, and time. Imagine a place where snowfall is abundant and the climate is so cold that the snow doesn't fully melt even during the warmest months. This is where our story begins. As the snow continues to fall, the layers pile up, one on top of another. Each layer compresses the ones beneath it, squeezing out the air and causing the snow to become denser. This compacted snow, now halfway between snow and glacier ice, is known as firn. That doesn't stop there. With more snowfall and the relentless pressure of time, the firn continues to compact further. It denser and denser until it transforms into the hard blue ice we associate with glaciers. This process, from fluffy snowfall to dense glacial ice, can take anywhere from tens to hundreds of years, depending on the climate and snowfall rate. But the birth of a glacier is not just about the transformation of snow into ice, it's also about movement. Glaciers are not static, they're dynamic and ever-changing. Under its own weight, the glacier begins to move, inching forward under the force of gravity. It's this movement that carves out valleys and shapes landscapes, leaving behind telltale signs of its passage. In places like West Antarctica, home to the Thwaites and Pine Island glaciers, these processes have been ongoing for hundreds of thousands of years, resulting in the vast ice giants we see today. So, these magnificent ice giants are not formed overnight, but over thousands of years of constant snowfall and cold temperatures, are a testament to the power of nature and the passage of time, a window into our planet's past and a crucial component of our global climate system. But why does the birth, life, and death of these icy behemoths matter to us? Glaciers are not just the world's largest ice cubes. They are key players in the global ecosystem, performing crucial roles that help maintain the planet's health. One of their most significant roles is in temperature regulation. These vast expanses of ice reflect sunlight back into space, helping to maintain the Earth's cool temperature. Without glaciers, more sunlight would be absorbed by the Earth's surface, leading to increased global warming. They also act as Earth's freshwater reservoirs. Almost 3/4 of the world's fresh water is locked up in these icy fortresses. As they melt, they release this water into rivers and seas, providing essential hydration for countless species and ecosystems. And not just that, they also contribute to our drinking water supplies, agricultural irrigation, and even hydroelectric power generation. Glaciers also play a crucial role in the global carbon cycle. They capture carbon in the form of organic material, trapping it within their icy grip. Without them, more carbon would be left free in the atmosphere, exacerbating the greenhouse effect and accelerating climate change. But the role of glaciers extends beyond global temperature control and water supply. They also serve as unique habitats for a variety of flora and fauna. From the microscopic life forms that color the ice to the larger mammals that roam their peripheries, life in and around glaciers is wonderfully diverse and uniquely adapted to these harsh conditions. The Thwaites Glacier and the Pine Island Glacier, part of the West Antarctic ice sheet in West Antarctica, are prime examples of such ecosystems. These glaciers support a complex web of life and play a pivotal role in maintaining our planet's health. So when we talk about glaciers, we're not just talking about ice. We're talking about the world's largest mirrors, water suppliers, carbon catchers, and wildlife habitats. Their colossal presence has far-reaching impacts that stretch beyond their icy boundaries. Now imagine what happens when these ice giants start to melt. The impact of climate change on glaciers is profound and deeply disconcerting. As our world continues to heat up due to rising global temperatures, glaciers, the majestic ice giants of our planet, are feeling the heat. They are melting at an alarming rate, faster than any time in recorded history. In the grand scheme of things, glaciers are like our planet's air conditioners. They reflect heat back into space and cool the Earth. But as global temperatures rise, these natural ACs are failing. They are melting, shrinking, and disappearing. And this is happening everywhere, from the Andes to the Alps, from the Rockies to the Himalayas. But let's zoom in on a specific region, West Antarctica, home to the Thwaites Glacier and the Pine Island Glacier. These two glaciers are among the most rapidly changing in the world. They are melting at an unprecedented rate, contributing significantly to global sea level rise. Thwaites Glacier, often referred to as the Doomsday Glacier, is roughly the size of Florida. It's melting so rapidly that scientists fear it could collapse within a few decades. The collapse of Thwaites alone could raise global sea levels by about 2 feet. Just next door, the Pine Island Glacier is not faring any better. This glacier is losing ice 5 times faster now than it was in the early 90s. Its rapid retreat and thinning have scientists concerned about a potential domino effect on the rest of the West Antarctic ice sheet. These are not isolated incidents. Glaciers around the world are in retreat, and this retreat is accelerating. It's a clear and stark reminder of the reality and urgency of climate change. As the world continues to warm, these icy giants are losing their battle against the heat. And as they melt, they're not just changing the face of our planet, they're ringing alarm bells that we cannot afford to ignore. As our world warms, these icy giants are losing their battle against the heat. What does a world with melting glaciers look like? Let's shed some light on this pressing question. Imagine a world where sea levels are constantly on the rise. As glaciers melt, the water they once held captive is released into our oceans. Slowly but surely, our coastlines start to disappear, swallowed by the encroaching sea. Iconic seaside cities, from Miami to Mumbai, could be submerged, displacing millions of people and causing catastrophic economic impacts. Then, we have to consider the loss of habitats. Glaciers are more than just frozen water. They're unique ecosystems home to a plethora of wildlife. As these icy realms melt away, so do the homes of countless creatures, from the microscopic organisms living within the ice to the polar bears, seals, and penguins that depend on the cold environment for survival. But the consequences don't stop there. Many of our freshwater sources are also tied to glaciers. In fact, nearly 1/6 of the world's population relies on glaciers and seasonal snow for their water supply. As these sources dwindle, freshwater scarcity becomes a stark reality for millions. Now let's take a closer look at the West Antarctic ice sheet. This mammoth ice mass is particularly vulnerable to climate change. Why does this matter? Well, if the entire West Antarctic ice sheet were to melt, global sea levels could rise by over 3 meters. That's about the height of a 1-story building. Such a significant rise would have devastating implications for coastal communities around the globe. The consequences of melting glaciers are far-reaching and have the potential to reshape our world as we know it. It's a domino effect where the melting of ice leads to rising seas, flooded cities, lost habitats, and water scarcity. The ripple effects of these changes could touch every corner of our planet and every aspect of our lives. The melting of glaciers paints a dire picture for our planet's future. But remember, it's not too late for us to make a change. We have the power to alter this course, but we must act now. What can we do to halt the death of these ice giants? This is a question that echoes in the minds of many as we face the harsh realities of climate change. But to answer that, we first need to understand our role in this unfolding crisis. Our actions, collectively and individually, have a significant impact on the health of our planet. From the industries we support, the products we consume, to the way we travel, all contribute to the state of our environment. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and other human activities have led to an increase in greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, causing the Earth's temperature to rise. This in turn has instigated the melting of glaciers, particularly those in West Antarctica like the Thwaites and Pine Island glaciers. But it's not too late to change the course of this narrative. By recognizing our role, we can also see our potential for effecting change. Global cooperation is key in limiting greenhouse gas emissions. Countries around the world need to work together, setting and adhering to stringent climate goals. But it's not just about the grand gestures of nations. Individual actions matter too. Every one of us can make a difference. By adopting more sustainable lifestyles, we can reduce our carbon footprints. This could mean opting for renewable energy sources, reducing waste, or supporting businesses that prioritize sustainability. It could also mean educating ourselves and others about the realities of climate change and advocating for environmental policies. We need to remember that the West Antarctic ice sheet, home to our ice giants, is not just a remote and isolated part of the world. It's a vital component of our global ecosystem, and its demise would have far-reaching consequences, including sea level rise that threatens coastal communities worldwide. The fate of glaciers and our planet lies in our hands. It's time for climate action. It's time to stand up for our ice giants, for our ecosystems, and for future generations. Let's make our choices count. Let's make our voices heard. Let's ensure that our actions today secure a sustainable and resilient world for tomorrow. Today, we journeyed from the birth of glaciers to their current plight. We explored the intricate processes that form these ice giants and delved into their crucial role in our ecosystem. We witnessed how climate change is leaving its mark, threatening their existence and ours. The melting glaciers, the consequences we face, and the urgent call for climate action were all laid bare. Remember, every action counts when it comes to saving our ice giants, and in turn, our planet.